Just maybe talk to me a bit about the Springboks and your evolution as you were coming up as a rugby player, looking at them building the brand they have now. It's almost like an All Blacks aura. Like they were always a top team, but winning the World Cup in 2019, winning in 23, you're looking on as a provincial player to be opponents on Saturday. But what is it about them? What's the aura of the Springboks over the last 6 years?
Yeah, I guess it's slightly different maybe to some of those All Black teams of 2011, 2015, where they seemed like they just didn't lose a game for 6 or 7 years, whatever. Whereas South Africa seemed to have gotten it right in terms of peaking at the right times for those World Cups. Have lost games in between, but I guess that's maybe down to some of the innovation they've tried to introduce. So you can see that with some of the benches they've used. They obviously have Esterhazy as hybrids. They were using the 7-1s and stuff like that. So they're not afraid to try a few things, and obviously that's something that's great, and we're obviously all keeping an eye on how they're innovating. But yeah, like the nuts and bolts of South African rugby, I think has always stayed the same. If they're hugely physical, they're going to work unbelievably hard. They're very passionate, so I think that's something that they still have 100%.
What do you make of their PR approach? Because when you speak to their players and management, they're not afraid to say that they're being treated harshly or that, and it's kind of interesting for us because we're very used to hearing people following the processes and going through all that. What do you make of how they approach their media and Razzie and his approach as well?
In terms of what you think the media is kind of they think the media is having a go at them?
Well, they don't really mind what they say. They will say that World Rugby are being unfair to them. Yesterday the coach said that they're not being treated fairly. And we're used to maybe the last few years of people saying we're just going to follow the process and go through the back channels and all that. But they're very open or honest in how they feel.
Yeah, I guess like it's kind of whatever suits you, I guess, in that sense. They're obviously happy to kind of create their own little tight camp, and if that's maybe something that they like doing, of kind of the media in the world's kind of against us, then whatever works for them, I guess. But yeah.